I'll call the meeting to order, and before we start, let me read the evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles. You have the minutes from from the August 23rd meeting. Any corrections or additions? Motion to approve. Do I have a second? I have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Minutes are approved. I'd like to make an adjustment to the agenda. If I could, John his wife is trying to exit the hospital, and John would like to join her exit. So we would like to move the long-range planning item that is John's item from the proposed ridgetop and hillside regulations to the first item on the agenda. Do I have a motion to move that item? I have a motion and a second. John, ridgetop.
Thank you for accommodating me on that. I do have one other thing, and that's just for staff report. I failed to notify those of you who said you wanted to go early. That gave me an indication you wanted to go to that training. I failed to notify you of that exact time and place and date, and my apologies to that. I have made arrangements with the Solid Waste Authority and the landfill, and Keep Blount Beautiful. We'll have another session on that in the spring, so we will be able to make that up. I think those that went to that will vouch that that was a very informative session. The ridgetop and hillside regulations, you have a memo on that. It's also a resolution. There are two sections that are being recommended for change, and they are boxed or bounded by a box. One is on page 2, the other one is on page 3. The first one is just a whereas. The analysis by the attorney felt that we needed to put something in there about erosion control, soil stability, and natural environment. So we reworded that. That's verbatim out of his memo to the Planning Commission. The second one on the other page, there were some concerns about being too restrictive, or at least being not very clear on what was allowed and what was not allowed as far as being cutting on property. The intent of the subsection is to preserve the vegetation. What we've done on the new phase of that is to put in principal uses and structures and accessory uses and structures. That's a clarification on that. So it's not just a structure. If it's a use like a fire pit, you can clear for a fire pit. If it's not a standard building, you can clear for that if it's an accessory use. So we've broadened that to include some of the concerns, at least, of some of the county commissioners on that. This is up for re-recommendation to the county commission.
Okay, does everybody understand that this came about as a result of the legal review? It came back to us from the county commission after that legal review. The modifications take into consideration what the legal counsel recommended. Do I have a motion to either send this forward or not to send it forward to the county commission for action? We have a motion to send it to county commission with recommendation to approve the resolution.
Second.
And we have a second. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Hope all is well. Hearings, concept plans, Raymond Beasley property off of Murphy Road by Bob Heron, 7 lots, 3 with frontage along County Road, and 4 to be served by a common driveway easement. Doug?
Yeah, I'd just like to remind the Planning Commission this is a concept only. There's no action required by the Planning Commission, but I would like you to take a look at it, It's item A1. You'll see there's what looks to be 5 lots in the back. I just want to point out that lot number 4 actually contains the easement. I mean, it contains the flag stem that you see, so only lots 2, 3, 5, and 6 are served exclusively off of the easement, which allows for the 4 lots. There's not really anything that just jumps out to me that I need to mention. It's pretty standard as long as the soils work out. I don't think it'll be an issue. There will be construction involved. The driveway entrance itself will be paved, but the driveway will be gravel. And if you'll note, on lot 6, a portion of the property is in the flood zone A, but there's plenty of property outside of it to meet the regulations. Murphy Road from this point on meets our 18-foot minimum requirement for more than 5 lots. And we did measure that because the road list indicates it's right at 18.
Do we have any questions, discussion? As Doug mentioned, it is a concept plan. Yes, Commissioner.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The gravel road coming off of Murphy Road, is that pretty well level? There's no grade coming up in, or?
Yeah, it's pretty
no
flat.
Require no paving, no nothing?
There'll be some paving at the entrance, like I mentioned. The entrance for a dimension about 30 feet back off the road will be paved, which is standard for common driveways that have this many lots.
Thank you.
Okay, it would just be a motion to acknowledge the concept plan with no deficiencies noted, right? Do I have a second to that? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. It will come back to us when it gets to the preliminary plat.
Yes, I think this is helping him move forward with his contract. Give him some indication you don't have any issues with it. The next item is item D1. It's a preliminary and final plat. It's the re-subdivision of Lot 1 of the Donald Ledbetter property off South Springview Road by Terry Beal. There are 4 lots. You'll see 3 lots with county road frontage and 1 lot served off of a 25-foot easement. If you'll look at the plat with me, you'll see the lots are numbered 1R1, 1R2, R3, and R4. Lot 1R3 is a flag lot, so it actually has road frontage, so the only lot actually served by the common driveway easement is 1R4. I would just like to mention a couple items. One is some site distance issues exist with some trees along South Springview. We're going to meet with the owner about how to take them down because they're in a ditch. And the highway department also wants to talk to them about loading lots 1R4, R3, and R2, which is part of the staff recommendation, off of that driveway easement. So while the common driveway only accesses 1R4 exclusively, all 3 of those lots will have their driveway entrance there so that they're not cutting extra driveways on South Springview. And that'll be noted on the plat. The outstanding items to be completed, site distance improvements along the county road must be completed prior to releasing the final plat. In note number 2, a note shall be added to the final plat indicating that lots 1R2, R3, and R4 shall share the driveway access located on lot 1R3, and that lot 1R2 shall have no other driveway access along South Springview Road, which is what I just said. Number 3, a maintenance agreement for lots 1R2, 1R3, and 1R4 shall be supplied to the staff prior to releasing the final plat. And number 4, signature plats and a $20 per lot platting fee. The reason I went through that about lot 1R4 as being the only lot served exclusively off the easement is they don't have to build this driveway for this plat, but we still want a maintenance agreement for all 3 lots sharing the entrance.
Okay. Do we have any questions or discussion? Plat is before us for preliminary as well as final, subject to completion of the staff recommendations. Got a motion, do I have a second? Motion and a second. Commissioner McClellan, question.
Yeah, I would like for you to get the surveyor to put the setback around the permanent easement for a front setback so that anyone building will understand they need to be 30 feet from that too.
Our regulations don't require that.
From a joint, you sure?
Off here? Off this easement up here?
If it's a road easement, no, if it's just a common,
It's a driveway, common.
just a common driveway, oh, we don't require it.
You don't require a setback from that?
Not if it's a road easement, we do. It's just an ingress, egress easement.
Any other questions? Do I have a motion? Oh, I'm sorry, we did. We have a motion in a second, I'm sorry. I'm backing up. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Miscellaneous items.
Item E1, I got the replat of lots 121 and 122 off of Peacock Ridge Drive in Big Valley Campground. There's a variance request. I would like to mention before we get started, if you look at the plat, that the BZA did grant the zoning variance requests to the setbacks at the September 2012 meeting. Both lots contain homes. The properties in the R1, as you can see, they're very, very, very small lots. Our regulations require 30,000 square foot lots in the R1 zone, regardless if they're on sewer or not. Lot 121R is, if I can read it, 2,814 square feet, and the other one's even smaller. There's a lot of history behind this. It was actually developed as a campground. I spoke to Gary Ferguson at quite some length. They have a multi-million-dollar sewer system in the ground that's owned by the Property Owners Association. I indicated on here, it says the Environmental Health Department will not sign this plat as the lots are served by a private sewer system to be signed by the sewer owner. I did check with Gary on that, and he actually indicated that the Property Owner Association has historically not signed it, and he's so familiar with the system that he has, in this case only, for this campground only, he does sign the plats, and he will sign this plat if approved. So I just wanted to clear that up because the comments in here are a little different. And that's all I have. If you have any questions, I'll try to address them.
Okay, so the BZA has already approved the variance on the lot size, or does
The
do they have to-
setbacks.
It didn't require lot size, but the setbacks, because the lot line is gonna split those two buildings, and they're not gonna have the 10 feet, or they're not gonna have the right setbacks.
But it's an improvement of it.
But it's an improvement because one of the structures is across the property line right now, so they did grant the variance.
If you see it on there, you see the dash line
Yeah.
across 121R cuts. That's where it exists now.
All right, so we are, the plat is actually for an existing condition of two structures on two separate lots, where the lot of the one or the structure was actually built across the lot line, and this is simply to correct or to adjust the lot line so that the one building sits exclusively on its lot.
Yeah, it doesn't correct all the problems for lot 122R, if you noticed. It still encroaches onto the lot next door. This plat really only corrects lot 121 completely.
Commissioner McClellan?
So you're required to address the building encroachment on track A, even though it's for the homeowner, it's on the homeowner association property?
I'm not sure I understand your question. Sorry.
I mean, you got a structure over the property line off of a plat we're going to approve.
It's already there.
I know it's there, but that's what I'm saying. Are we not going to address the fact that the building's over there?
You acknowledge it with an encroachment note that I mentioned in here. I discussed with the surveyor. It's an existing situation of an encroachment. We're just going to acknowledge it on the plat.
Should it be acknowledged by the homeowners association also?
That would be up to the planning commission. If you want to add that condition. I don't know that we've done that before. we're correcting an already bad situation, or making it better. I don't know if we're fixing it all the way. That was not the request by the surveyor, so we looked at what they brought in.
Commissioner,
That line's not moving in any way, shape, or fashion, so we didn't address it.
Commissioner Kirby?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The existing line was on the angle, right?
Yes, sir.
The dotted line was what they've got now.
Yes.
I'm sort of like Mr. McClellan, when you look at the 122R and sort of, what would you say, 5 feet of that house is sticking into the other lot?
Yeah, there's some portion of it that is, yes, and it was, and it exists that way.
So if we approve these 2 lots, and if this guy, what's the next lot called?
Tract A just has a tax map. I'm having a real hard time seeing it, those little numbers.
Is that vacant?
No. I don't believe it is. I think they're all full. There's structures on every one of those. I can't remember what's on that one. I don't know if it's a
I checked today.
is it a bathhouse?
Track A is owned by the homeowners association.
Yeah, it may be the bathhouse, or one of the bathhouses.
My opinion, I think that needs to be in here, that they agree to that,
I don't have any requirement to ask them that. I guess the planning commission wants to make that.
Can we request that in order not to have a problem down the road here?
I think you'd have to just go ahead and clean it all up now, all it can be done.
That's right.
Do it in one step and be done.
If John was here, I'm not gonna vote, I don't think, till we find out something, Mr. Chairman, on that.
The homeowner association owns that lot, and it should be,
By
clean that up.
looking at that.
Well,
The
then you've also
homeowner
got-
association owns part of this guy's house.
It looks like you've also got an encroachment on the easement on the front side.
Which is a private road, which is controlled by the Property Owners Association as well. Both of those are existing situations. They're encroachments that have never been brought up by the Property Owners Association as being a problem. I mean, and that, the issue is the line in the middle. Those are existing
Well,
situations.
but I mean, if it was just a replat of 121R, it would be one thing, but we're calling it the replat of lots 121 and 122. You can't replat 121 without replatting 122.
Right. We've done these in the past and just acknowledged that the existing encroachments are what they are. That they're there, and if they ever change the building in the future, they have to fit on the lot or meet setbacks.
Pull it back into their property.
I don't think we've done it where an actual home was over the line. I know we have sheds and fences, but I'm not sure about a home.
We have one recently of a home on Allegheny Loop where a portion of the home went into the county right of way as an encroachment into the county right of way, and the county highway superintendent in the staff write-up had made a statement that he did not have an issue with it. And the encroachment note was added to the plat. And that was not a private common driveway situation. I just don't know if you're going too far and asking a third party that's not involved in this plat to get involved in it, but that's up to you to decide.
Well, if we approve it and put or you all put a recommendation in there saying that piece, that amount is over on that association property.
They may not be aware it's over, and then they might have a problem. So I'll leave it to the planning commission to decide how you want to address it. The Board of Zoning Appeals has already approved this. I'm just mentioning.
Roger, how did you all talk about that?
No, because the only issue we had was for the property line that's being adjusted.
Okay.
Yeah, the other property lines remain the same, so.
That's the way the planning commission has looked at them in the past. I understand your concern. If you want to defer the plat and get some more clarification, we'll be glad to do that. I mean, that might be.
That's my recommendation, Mr. Chairman, that we get more clarification on that. What about you,
All
Mr.
right,
McClellan?
what would you like, Commissioner Kirby?
I just like to get something down that we can say about that corner of that building being over.
Are you asking for acknowledgement by the Property Owners Association?
Yes, that's what I like to have. That's what I said, you know, when I first started talking about it. But if that's out of order, I don't remember, how long's it been since we took care of the one on Allegheny Loop that was on the approachment of the county right away?
That was within this last year. I don't want to state a month because I don't want to be inaccurate.
I think that's a little different situation, isn't it? And then encroaching on other people's property, which everybody owns, is a lot owners association.
I don't disagree with you.
Can we do that, Mr. Stuckey?
All right, then a motion to deny the plat, subject to acknowledgement by the Property Owners Association of the encroachment.
Mr. Chairman, are you denying the plat or deferring the plat?
Let's defer it till we can get.
All right, what clarification then, include the clarification that you want? Acknowledgement by the Property Owners Association?
Sure, that they accept it.
The two encroachments.
Right.
All right,
Mr. Chairman,
yes.
sorry, but the intent of this coming in front of us is to fix 121R, correct?
Well,
I
I
mean-
don't know. I don't have any representative here for the plat. It's two lots here.
You're only moving the common property line to correct the problem with 122R. The other two property lines that Commissioner Kirby's concerned about is a pre-existing situation that's not addressed in this, right? Is that how I understand it?
Yeah, part of the whole structure on lot 121R will now fit on that lot. If you look, the tip of the building on 122R actually touched that lot line before. Whether it actually went over it, it may have,
And that's
because of the scale. We're fixing part of the problem for one lot and all of the problem for the other, and just acknowledging that it is what it is. If it doesn't get approved, the existing lot lines, the dashed line that goes through the house, and the other lines are still there. That's how they exist. The encroachment already exists, whether the Property Owners Association knows it or not. It's of record.
That's how I understand it, but Commissioner Kirby, you're asking for them to go a step farther and acknowledge that a pre-existing condition, you want to bring it to their attention, correct?
I'm afraid it's going to come back in our face.
I think so.
We have done these in the past. I can't tell you when we've done them all. We've had barns in the right of way. We've had buildings crossing property lines, and we've sort of standard procedure was to have a note acknowledging that the encroachment existed prior to the approval of any what you see on here. It existed whether or not we ever saw it, and whether or not anybody ever acknowledged it or knew about it. It already existed. So if you want to go to the extra step, that's completely up to the Planning Commission.
Well, I want somebody else's input of how comfortable they feel with it.
I mean, by approving the lots and us knowing that the building is across the line, are we in any legal situation there by approving that as it is? I mean, are we held responsible for anything over that lot line?
All I can say is, first off, I don't know how to give you legal advice, but whether or not you approve it, the encroachments already exist. They're there.
Chairman?
They're on the ground.
If I'm reading between the lines here and what he's saying is, we're not even talking about that corner of that building sticking over there. That line has been there forever. It
Correct.
ain't been touched.
It is,
All
but
we're talking about is moving this center line over, and we ain't even need to be even talking about that, correct?
well, I think don't let me put words in your mouth, Doug, but what Doug is saying is that we will require a note on the plat saying that there is an existing encroachment.
And that encroachment existed before we ever saw the plat.
So it acknowledges that we're simply in the review process that we are approving the adjustment of the line from the dotted line in the middle to the vertical line.
I withdraw my thing, and I'll make a motion that we approve by what
Okay.
we
we approve, subject to staff
If
recommendation.
it's already noted that that's over on that property, and go from there. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a second. Any further questions or discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, like sign. We had one no. Bruce. Okay. Motion carries. Roger, long-range planning, proposed campground and RV park regulations came back to us from the county commission.
Yes, that was a clerical error on my part in putting together the public notice as well as the resolution. What you have in your packet tonight is that corrected resolution. Gave that to you for you guys to look it over and make sure that that is the one. The correction that had to be made was the 3,000 feet on the roadways off of those major arterial roads.
And it was, what, public, it was published in error, was that the, or?
Yes, the public notice was 5,000 and the resolution was 5,000, but the 3,000 was what was shown to the county commission when they set the public hearing.
Okay.
And basically when I was putting those documents together, I went back to the wrong body.
Okay. All right, so basically this is a correction of the clerical
Yes.
issues that caused a point of order for the commission to send it back. Do I have a motion to send it on to the county commission? And a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Doug, you have anything else for us in John's absence? Meeting is adjourned.